if I don't change anything, then I'm going to be exactly where I am today. And the only person that can be held accountable for that is me, because I have that choice. I decide. So, in this episode, I'd like to talk about why I'm doing what I'm doing, why I'm sharing this information. In the last 18 months, I've gone through a rapid transformation in terms of I feel like I've been enlightened, if you want to call it that. I don't know what that word means, but let's say enlightened. Certainly from where I was, I feel that's the case. I got to a stage where I sat down and talked to myself. Now, obviously, I don't know who's talking to who when you're talking to yourself, but let's just assume that your inner voice is more intelligent than yourself. And I said, well, if I don't change anything, what changes tomorrow? And then I said, oh, shoot, hang on. If I don't change anything now, what changes next year? And what changes the year after that? Am I still going to be in exactly the same place, there or thereabouts, as I am today? And the answer was yes. If I don't change anything, then I'm going to be exactly where I am today. And the only person that can be held accountable for that is me, because I have that choice. I decided, well, okay, I either keep doing what I'm doing, go to work, 9 to 5, all that sort of stuff. I wish it was a 9 to 5. So you're always doing theoretical 40 hours, 60 hours, 80 hours. But you're constantly working. Because you're always under pressure to perform, you're being measured, you're being targeted, and. So there is no kind of 9 to 5. It haunts you, progressively through your day, your weekend, your life. Even if you're on holiday, you're still thinking about work. It takes a while to switch off. But I said, if I don't change anything, what changes? So that was the kind of the kickstart, and then that got me questioning everything that I was doing. So whether that was about pensions or investments or around savings or around life, around just personal growth, or whether that was around you're just living a better life, or your body, or the strength of your body, and it got me questioning everything. And what was really interesting was that there's a lot of people making a lot of money on people's insecurities, and most companies do the same. They argue that people are their biggest assets, which absolutely they are. If only they behaved in that way. Definitely people are the biggest assets, but equally there's a lesson in that, and that. I cover that in another episode. But what's really interesting with me and this journey I've been on is because I've questioned everything myself, where I come from, my beliefs, my values, like everything has gone under huge scrutiny now. I've started to realize that I didn't know a hell of a lot, and all the stuff I was told as a kid, and all the stuff I was led to believe as I grew up. And like I said, whether that's investments and pensions and savings and just life in general, was all kind of a bit of a blanket, a bit of a coverall that was actually hiding the reality, hiding the truth. And absolutely, when you have this information, now I know what I know. It's very difficult to unknow it. That I don't get stressed anymore. I don't get wound up by things that I used to get wound up by. And being in a state that I am now, where I can do this and feel like I need to share this message and get out there. And people ask me, what are you doing it for? And it's like, nothing. I just need to share this information, because the more people that realize how easy life can be, if only they let it, and not make it so complicated, not make it so hard. Life is suffering anyway. Life is hard. People are going to die. It's inevitable. You're going to suffer. But the times that you can enjoy, as in the rest of it, well, let's enjoy it properly. So I'm going to keep sharing this message. I'm going to keep sharing the information I've uncovered. There's so much of it. I'm starting to write this down in a journal, starting to document it, because I think it needs to be out there. People need to understand. Certainly the younger generation. I tell you, one of the hardest things for me was resigning from work and just going, there's my resignation. They're going, but we're in the middle of COVID. Why are you resigning? You can't resign. Yeah, no, I can. I have to. I'm feeling compelled that I have to. Well, where are you going to work? Where are you going to get an income? I said, I'm not somehow not worried about that. I'm more worried about the fact that I only have one life and I'm going to live that life the way that I want to live that life. That was probably one of the hardest things I've ever done. I've become so accustomed to having a salary coming in every month, and that is my security blanket, and I literally ripped that away. Not only that, we then decided part of this process was that we have the need to simplify. We need to simplify our lives, and the only way we can do that is to sell literally everything that we own, including the house. Whole another episode on that one. And so we did. We sold literally 95% of our possessions. So things we kept are the important things: laptop, phones, all that sort of stuff. The stuff that's got our life in it, but everything else went. And yeah, we made some dramatic changes, I'd say, to our life. And they are still in process. There's still stuff happening. But because I now know what I know, I have to share this information with you. So hopefully you find it useful, and hopefully this, my coffee break stratagem, as I called it, is a way for me to just get little bite-sized nuggets out to the world, whether it's digested or not, whether it's received or not, whether those who have got so much skin in the game, when you get to like my age and you've got that much skin in the game, it's much harder to make changes. But certainly if you're in your teens or your early 20s, this information is invaluable. I wish I had this. I wish someone had sat me down and told me this stuff when I was that age. Because not only would I be a multi-millionaire by now, and just by doing the 9 to 5, because let's face it, that's where most of us start off, and that's great. We need to do that. That's where we get our relationships. That's where we get our learning. That's where we get our income. And all of us are entrepreneurs and can just start a company and it's hugely successful. It just doesn't work like that. Life is a bit tougher than that, and you need to learn stuff to be able to do that. You need to learn how the corporate world works. You need to be able to learn how business works. You need to be able to learn how customers work, all that sort of stuff. So you need to go to an environment that is already established so that you can get that information quickly, because trying to get that on your own is really hard. So yeah, definitely I would have this information back then. Wow, very different life. So hopefully you'll get some nuggets from this and it will be useful to you, your family, your teenage kids, even younger kids, and you'll get some value out of this that'll change the quality and the trajectory of your lives.